Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Matadors Unmasked podcast. My name is Landon Parrish, and we are out here at the Embassy Suites. We have an incredible setup. It looks awesome in here. Big shout out to the live crowd. I hope they can hear us. I'm trying to talk loud enough so everybody can hear. Yes, big shout out. We appreciate y'all being here. So shout out all them. Shout out Skydive Media. They are recording, making the sound, everything, all that look good. We couldn't do this without them, so really appreciate Skydive Media and Embassy Suites for letting us be out here, and then the Texas Tech Alumni Association for giving us their time and letting us do this. We've got a very special guest joining us today from the class of 2002. He's a member of the National Board of Directors, president of the Lubbock chapter of the Texas Tech Alumni Association, has a bachelor in business administration and marketing. We are joined today by Chris Richards. Chris, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can get some applause. So like we said, this is the first time we're doing the Matadors Unmasked podcast. So you get to be the guinea pig with me, and we're going to kind of figure this thing out. So we're going to get started. We're going to talk a little bit about the Texas Tech Alumni Association, and for anybody who's listening to the podcast, try and explain what it is to them. So the first question, it's an easy one. What is the Texas Tech Alumni Association?
So the Texas Tech Alumni Association is the alumni association of Texas Tech. They are an independent organization, a nonprofit. So it's actually separate from the university. So it's private. What they are wanting to do is they want to connect, inspire, and love our Red Raider family, support Texas Tech, build relationships, and foster that growth. Also, what they do is they have a whole network of chapters. So what the Lubbock chapter is our local chapter of the Alumni Association. So if you go anywhere for a football game, you go to Orange County, you go to San Francisco, there will be a local chapter there, and they will always have an event. So if you ever do travel, look out for those chapters. They are great people. They are very fun Red Raiders. So it's just a little bit of Texas Tech in every different city across the United States.
Nice. So at the beginning, I mentioned you're on the national board for the Texas Tech Alumni Association, and you touched on it a little bit. There's different chapters. What's the difference in a chapter of the Alumni Association and like the overarching Alumni Association?
So the overarching Alumni Association is, it's in the heart of Texas Tech. It's on the campus. If you've ever been down the building, it's beautiful, has lots of history. They have a CEO. These are all paid people. So they're just here in Lubbock. They'll travel around. What they do is they also support the local chapters. Your local chapters are going to be volunteers. These are people that don't get paid. They just do it for the love of Texas Tech. They have game watching parties. A lot of them build scholarships for local kids to go to Texas Tech. They'll also have lots of different events. And then when the Alumni Association comes out, they will host it. So when we were in the Final Four a couple of years ago, we were the hosting in Orange County, we're the hosting chapter. So we would set the parties, we'd help find where to have the game watching, make sure that all the Red Raiders knew where we'd have the party pregame and stuff like that, and just kind of be that contact. But it's kind of a home away from home. So these are the people that, they put their heart and soul for it. Some of them have golf tournaments, they have clay shoots, they auction off all kinds of stuff. And, even they have chapters in Hawaii.
Wow.
I've heard they've had a chapter overseas and stuff like that, but you will always find them. And the chapter leaders are kind of the ones that are doing all the work. When I was in Orange County, I was the only person for 15 years. So it's a lot of love, but it's a lot of great, you just meet so many different people, and you just give them that home away from home from Lubbock.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you talked about it, them being volunteers in some of these chapters and outside of the national board. I mean, it's got to be cool to see the dedication that people have to like literally volunteer their time to try and bring people together and do that. I mean, is that something that is cool for you seeing on the board, but also a member of a chapter seeing that volunteer work that's done?
Yeah, I mean, it's always cool because they're always passionate. They're always happy to do it. I've met several different leaders. There's Victoria, Canada, who's the Phoenix chapter. She's very, very involved. I mean, you're not going to find someone who has more Texas Tech passion than her. There's Jenny Menlo that's out in San Diego. And I mean, she's kind of the one that took me under her wing and showed me what to do. But it is just, it's a labor of love. And that's what it is. You're reaching out, like you're talking to bartenders. Like imagine going to Orange County and being like, "Hey, I'm here from Texas Tech, and can we have a game watch party?" Like, "Oh yeah, the Longhorns." And you're like, "No, not quite." And so them kind of seeing you guys come in every week, and imagine this: we're in Orange County, the heart of USC.
Yeah.
And these USC people will be like, "Why is this game on?" And she would be like, "I'm sorry, we're not changing it." They come every week. They're always here. They always bring 10 to 15 people. Yeah. And we're not changing the game for them. I mean, they would have MMA fights, and they would still have one screen for us to watch the game. And once the game was over, they would switch it over. But they just see the passion that we have, and they can feel it too. And I mean, we'd have waitresses with double T's walking around. We would have bar owners that would, congratulate. I still get congratulations from old bar owners that were like, "Oh man, I saw you guys made the Final Four. Oh, you're making a run this year." And they feel the love, and they see how much we love our university. Yeah. And as volunteers, that is just something that it just comes through you. So it's a lot of fun, and it is just like you said, it is a labor of love.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. You don't think about it super often, but I don't know. You've got a party in a totally different college town, and you've got this group of Texas Tech fans walking in. I mean, that exemplifies Texas Tech right there. I mean, doesn't matter where you are. You could be in the furthest away place you can think of. You're gonna be repping Texas Tech with you, and that's pretty cool to see.
Oh yeah, and they always go nuts the very first time you yell "Guns up!"
Get a Raider power going somewhere. Yeah. So if there's somebody who's listening to this right now and they're like, "Man, I didn't even know the Texas Tech Alumni Association was a thing," how would you get involved with the Texas Tech Alumni Association?
Well, there's several ways you can get involved. You can go ahead and sign up to be a member of the National Alumni Association. You can go to the website. There's a charge, but then you can also donate to some of the scholarships that are out there. They give out a lot of scholarships. Yeah. There's different levels. At different levels, you're going to get different things. You can put your kid, if you really want to, you can put them in the Legacy program, which is awesome. On their birthday, they get a gift from Texas Tech, and every year they get another gift from Texas Tech. It's special, and it's made for each different, so like when they're getting closer to college age, they're going to get something more appropriate. The little kids get little stuffed toys and stuff, and it's really a great program. Or if you don't really want to join the Alumni Association, you can always get it in on a local level. You can come out to one of the Lubbock chapter events. It's free. We don't charge. All the local chapters around the United States have events. They have happy hours. They have all kinds of stuff, and you don't have to be a member of the Alumni Association to be part of those. Come out to one of those events, get to know them. If you want to get involved, they'll let you know how you can volunteer and help them out. And then also, a lot of them have scholarships. So that's another way is we love to raise scholarship for kids, love to wear awareness around tech. Actually, when we were out in Orange County, they have a home for the holidays. So Orange County in California has its own recruiter for Texas Tech.
Really?
So we would go for this Home for the Holidays event, and when we first started, there's maybe 2 or 3 families. When we left 15 years later, there were 100 kids, all that were going to go to Texas Tech. Wow. And so what our job is to tell them what Lubbock's like. So imagine me saying, "Hey, you might want to buy a coat. There's going to be days where it's a brownout. If you don't know what a brownout is, we're not talking about rolling electricity. We're talking about sand and dust." Yep. And then we love to always show a video of what a haboob is, and this might happen, and just explain to the parents kind of what the campus is like and what's Lubbock like, and just be like, "Listen, it's flat. The joke is you can watch your dog run away for 3 days."
Yeah, yeah.
And so explain to a kid from Orange County what that's like is always kind of fun. And sometimes they think you're joking, and then you get the one parent that's been there and be like, "Oh yeah, he's not joking at all."
Yeah, no, that was kind of the craziest thing to me. So I mean, I'm from West Texas. I've been here for a long time, but nothing prepares you for a big brown wall of dust that's just coming in, and you're like, oh, surely that doesn't come make it to us, right? And it keeps getting closer, and yeah. But I mean, that's what makes it West Texas. That's what brings everybody together. Everybody has to go through that together, and it makes some interesting memories, to say the least. So we've talked a little bit about how you can get involved. We've talked about what it is. Now, if there's somebody listening to it and they're like, I don't want to get involved, I think you kind of answered part of that. A lot of this stuff is free. A lot of the local stuff is free. I can't say that enough.
Yes.
Go get involved. Give it a chance first. But what would you say to somebody who's on the fence of like, they don't want me there. Like, I'm not a Texas Tech guy. Like, what would you say to somebody who's on the fence?
I would say just attend an event. There's nothing like meeting other Red Raider fans. They know what Texas Tech is about. We even had a guy that we used to do trivia, and we always did alumni trivia, and then we do spouse trivia, like, where's Lubbock? You know, and we'd make it really easy. And I told him, I was like, oh, you know, you have to be the alumni one. And he's like, I didn't go to Texas Tech. And I was like, why are you here then? Not to be mean, but why are you here? And he goes, my dad loved Texas Tech, and he just always got me into Texas Tech football, basketball. So I've just always been a fan. He goes, I've never actually been to Lubbock. And I'm like, that just blows my mind. But just to see the love that he had, and he knew all the answers to all the sports questions we had. I mean, it was an amazing thing, but you always go out and you meet always someone that's different, and you never know who you're going to meet. We used to have one weekend our bar had something, and so we were chosen to meet at Buffalo Wild Wings. And this guy comes out and kind of pops his head out, and he goes, oh, hey, there are Texas Tech people here. And we're like, yeah, we're meeting here. Did you not get the email? He goes, what email? And I was like, oh, we sent emails out. And I was like, how'd you know we're out here? He goes, well, the waitress goes in, she goes, hey, they have that logo outside. So he went out there, and we come to find out his daughter plays softball for Texas Tech. We did not know that her boyfriend played baseball for Texas Tech. So we got to know him, and he was one of our people. And so when the softball team went out to play Texas Tech, we always had to, bring everyone out to the game so we could give them that love. When Texas Tech baseball would play Fullerton, Fullerton had many MLB stars, we would always go out there and support them and stuff like that. And it was just that kind of love that people were like, this is what it is. It's not a big overarching thing. It is the local people who love Texas Tech and just want to show everyone how much we love Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I hear you saying that, and people are going to listen to this, and they're going to be like, sure, there's Texas Tech people everywhere. I know you're going to say that, but like, it is so true. My wife and I, we were on a trip. We were in Arizona, and we were just at a cheesecake factory eating whatever. I had on like some Texas Tech polo, something like that, and some guy stops me, and he was like, Texas Tech? You know Texas Tech? And I was like, yeah, I know Texas Tech. And then another guy overhears our conversation. They're like, y'all talking about Texas Tech? Did y'all watch the football game the other night? We're like, oh my gosh, we did watch the football game. Like, we're in Arizona, like nobody around us that should know of this. And he's like, yeah, I went to school there. I haven't been back to Lubbock in, I don't know, it's been 25 years. And he's like, I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to go to a football game sometime. Like, seriously, it's everywhere. There are Tech fans everywhere. It's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, I have a great story. When we used to live in downtown Long Beach, and traffic in California, like it's notorious. So we're driving down, and we hear honking, and I was like, yeah, everyone honks. And this guy cuts through lanes of traffic, and he drives right up next to us. His windows down. He's all, guns up, baby. And his passenger is horrified because she has no idea what he's talking about. But that's just how passionate fans are. Like you said, they're everywhere, and once they see the double T, they're going to come out. One of the other things that I did not know when I moved to Orange County, I wear my Texas Tech stuff all the time. Almost every shirt I own has a double T on it, and my golf bag had a double T on it. And so I go to this golf course, and they're like, hey, you get the Tiller discount. And I'm like, all right, like, what do you mean? He goes, oh yeah, Tillers. And he points at my bag, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll take a discount. And so I'm playing golf, and this guy comes up and goes, hey, you a Tiller? And I was like, no, what's a Tiller? He goes, that high school logo, that's the Tustin Tillers. And I was like, huh? So I go and Google it, and they use the double T.
Wow.
And I mean, they use it the exact same double T. It's on everything. I mean, they had shirts and stuff. So when I told the recruiter, she sent a whole box of double T stickers to that school to try and get them out there. And I actually ran into one of their students later that was part of the process, because she's all, oh man, I went to Tustin, and I was like, I'm Texas Tech. And she's like, oh, that's at another school? And I was like, yeah, it's a college. You guys got it from us. She goes,
The school.
yeah. I was all, it's the #1 school. And she's like, she's all, I was there when we got the logo. And I was all, how'd it happen? She goes, they put up all these logos, and everyone's like, that one. That is the best logo ever. And I was like, I have to agree, that is the best logo ever.
It is. All right, so we've talked a lot about the Texas Tech Alumni Association. We're going to get into a little bit more about you and some of your time in college. But before we move on from this sort of information, do you have anything else you want to say about the Texas Tech Alumni Association?
If you've never been to the Merced Alumni Center, you should go. It has all the history of Texas Tech. It has all the famous people. They'll give you tours. If you have a son or daughter that's graduating, go the Friday before graduation. We're there giving tours. As a board member, I'm there. They actually let me walk people around and show them. I'll make up my own tour because they let me. But it is really, they want to welcome you back home. Even if you're not a member of the Alumni Association, if you went to Texas Tech, that is your home. And that's what they really, really do kind of, preach and want you to know is every Red Raider is always welcome at the Alumni Association.
All right, well, you heard it here first. The first thing you got to do, you got to go to an event. If you're on the fence, make sure you show up. Then you got to come down to Lubbock. You got to check it out. You got to come back, be at your home, and then it'll grow from there. It sounds like there's some incredible love, and I don't doubt that people are going to come here and see some of this stuff. So that's super cool. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with some more of your time in college and some fun stories from Texas Tech. All righty, we are back for the Matadors Unmasked podcasts. And we're going to move into, we've talked about the Alumni Association, what it is, how you get involved. Again, go to an event, check out the socials. You're going to have a good time. But now let's talk a little bit about you and how you got to Texas Tech. You're not from Lubbock, are you?
No, I'm not. I was born in Virginia and grew up in El Paso. The very first time I heard about Texas Tech, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell this story, but I was in a government class in high school, and there's this guy behind me, and he's like, oh man, I got into Texas Tech, and it's a school out in Lubbock, and I had no idea where Lubbock was, and I was like, if he got in, I'm pretty sure I could get in. And so I applied and had a friend out here, my best friend Justin Underwood. He had me out for a visit, and I mean, we did what you usually do on a Texas Tech Lubbock visit. We went to a few parties, woke up with some headaches, but I mean, just kind of coming around and seeing kind of like the way Lubbock was, even though, I come from El Paso where there's a mountain in the middle of town, it being flat, but just fell in love with the school and just wanted to come here. Applied, was really surprised, really happy that I got in. Had my dad drive me out for orientation, and it was just a great experience. And going through orientation at Texas Tech, they do a really good job of making you feel welcome, and then just the town around it making you feel welcome as well too.
Was there ever a thought? I mean, everybody's got to have this when you're trying to decide where you want to go to college. Was it like slam dunk, Texas Tech's the one, or was it a kind of a decision that you had to make, and kind of Lubbock might have sold you on it?
I had a lot of different experiences, like choosing what school I wanted to go to. But after that weekend with my friend, I was like, this is the place. Like, this is where I want to come to school. Just had a great time. I mean, it was easy to get around. But like, the other thing about it is people here are just so nice. Everyone knows this about Lubbock. We're walking down the street, and being from El Paso, we're very much like, all right. We're walking down the street, and people are like, hey, how's it going? And we're like looking, us? Like, oh, hey, man, how are you? And it's just that friendly vibe that I think I just really, really liked.
Yeah, I mean, you see that bleed out too into like what we're talking about. You're in Orange County, and you've got Red Raiders there who are just stopping you on the street, like, oh, dude, you went to Tech. Like, it travels. The people in West Texas, they're different.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, wherever you go, once they find out you're from Lubbock, Texas Tech, they're like, oh man, here, let me talk to your let me talk to you all night, tell you about, oh, when I was there, this is what happened, and just always have great stories, and you're never not gonna not have a great time with a Red Raider.
All right. So when you were trying to decide where you wanted to go to college, you finally chose Texas Tech, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go here. Did you know what you wanted to major in whenever you decided to come to Texas Tech, or was that a decision you made further down the line?
No, I knew when I came in I was going to be an accounting major. I got accounting classes. I took an accounting internship, and it was probably one of the most boring internships I ever had. I was in charge of labeling all the assets for our building. Okay. So I was the one underneath your desk putting a little sticker that says property of so-and-so, and just did not like it. And then decided to help out with the marketing team there. And oh, I loved it. After that, I changed my major, went with marketing major, and that's what I graduated with, was marketing.
Nice. That's awesome. Looking back on your time in college, I'm sure you've got a lot of stories, and you can tell as many as you like. But what is one thing that you look back on college and you're like, I wish I could do that again. I wish I could be there.
Oh, there's so many. So when I started school, it was a long time ago, but we were just starting in the Big 12. And so my friend came home, and to kind of bring it all together, there's an student alumni board, and they're affiliated with the Alumni Association. He goes, dude, for $40, they'll give us a ticket to the game, the first Big 12 game, put us up in a hotel, and take us to a barbecue. And I'm like, oh man, $40, let's go. So we go on a bus, and we go to Dallas. It's in Irving Stadium, the old Cowboy Stadium. We're playing Oklahoma State. So they get us all together, and they're all, listen, your students, we're not going to check IDs, but you do not drink at the barbecue unless they offer it to you. So we're like, oh, okay. So as we're stepping off the bus, the guy who owns the ranch is like, hi, I'm so-and-so, here's a beer. Hi, I'm so-and-so, here's your beer. So we're out there, and we're walking around, and I meet this one, very nice, older lady. She's telling me what Texas Tech was like. Her dorm was the administration building. And I grew up in El Paso. We're not very agricultural, so I really didn't know the history of Texas Tech. Yeah. So she tells me that she used to trade cows for tuition, and I am floored. So I'm listening to everything this lady's telling me and just like loving it. And there's a band behind us, and I didn't know who they were, but it turns out they were the Dixie Chicks playing on the back of a flatbed trailer, and we're just there having a good time. And it was just really, really, really fun. So that was probably one of my very, very first memories. And I think one of the other ones, which is, it's kind of an embarrassing story to tell, so I'm going to preface it. I'm from El Paso. We didn't get a lot of country artists. So I had some friends, and we bought our, it was a Double T bookstore. We went in, we bought our books, and my friend goes, did you get a ticket to the concert? And I'm all, what concert? He goes, Waylon Jennings. I was all, who? He's all, Waylon Jennings. I was all, who? And he's like, he sings this, he sings that. And I was like, I have no idea. He goes, he sings the Dukes of Hazzard song. I love that song. I grew up watching the Dukes of Hazzard. It was my favorite show. I was like, you know what? He probably has one or two other good songs if he sings that one. Yeah. So as a college freshman, my friends tell me when to show up. So I show up, 30 minutes before. I'm always on time. None of my friends are there. The waitress sits me down. This is at Stubbs Barbecue. Yeah. My friend, waitress sits me down. She goes, sweetie, what would you like to drink? And I was like, what do you have on special? I'm not 21. So she's like, well, we have Coors Light, Bud Light. And I was like, Coors Light. So she brings a pitcher and glasses, and she sits them down. And I'm like, I'm just going to wait for my friends to come for a little bit. So I'm sitting there, and this old guy comes up, and he goes, hey, man, do you mind if I sit with you? And I was like, hey, you want a beer? So I pour him a beer, and I'll tell her, hey, that's my dad. That's fine. So I start talking to this guy, and he's like, oh, so you excited for the show? And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, no. He goes, so why'd you come? And I was like, I heard he sang the Dukes of Hazzard song. That's the best song ever. I mean, if he sings that, he has some pretty, some other okay songs, I guess. And the guy's all, I guess so. So we're sitting there drinking. He's asking me about why I came to Texas Tech, telling me all this stuff. And we're just sitting there talking. And then he's all, hey, man, I have to go. And he's all, want me to pay for the beer? And I was like, no, my friends are here. When they come, I'll make them pay for it. And he's like, all right. So he leaves, and I find my friends. I'm sitting there with them, and the show starts, and this old man walks out and I'm like, hey, who's that? And they're all, that's Waylon. And I was all, like, Waylon, the guy we came to see? And they're all, yeah. I was just talking to him. They're all, no, you weren't. I was all, I swear I was just talking to him. So he starts getting ready to he starts, playing and all this stuff. And my friends are like, you're so full of it. And I was like, I swear I was just talking to him. So right before he plays the song, he goes, I need to tell a little story. So he tells the entire bar what happens. So he goes, this song's for that guy. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm telling this story in a bar in Austin, and this guy goes, excuse me, I don't mean to eavesdrop. He goes, that was you? And I was like, what? He goes, he came and played in Austin, told the same story. Dude. So I'm like, oh, great. I'm famous for not knowing who Waylon Jennings is. And I mean, it was just things like that I've always just kind of loved about Texas Tech. One of the other things is everyone knows football games. So one of the best football games is we're playing who? Texas. It is raining and it is just pouring. And of course, being Texas Tech, they oversold the game. Oh, yeah. So we're in the student section having to stand this way and look this way to watch the game. And everyone's jumping up and down on the bench, on the bleachers. And all of a sudden, you just see half a row go out. What happened? And then you see him pick up the bench and have to pour it down. And I mean, I don't know how many bench seats they lost that game, but that is just one memory. I'm like, if I could go and not bust a hip, yeah. I would go do that again over and over.
All right, so when you were at Texas Tech, there's tons of things that you can do. Texas Tech is absolutely massive. Was it easy for you to get involved in things on campus?
Yeah, it was really easy. I mean, before I even started, I started getting invites from every kind of organization. I joined a few. There was a few organizations, they would make you join something else. So I joined one that was called Fashion Board. Didn't know anything about that. But I mean, that's just the thing. Any organization you're going to join would make it fun. And that's kind of something I would always tell the students is like, if you're going to come to college, go to college, go join stuff, go do things. College isn't going to come up to you and have a good time. You have to go find it. You have to go see what's out there. And the more that you're going to jump out of your comfort zone or go just try new things, the better it's going to be. You're going to have a great experience and you're going to meet so many people. Yeah. It may be your new best friend. It may be your wife. It might be someone you never talk to again. But that's just kind of the thing I love about Lubbock and I love about Texas Tech. We're friends for a day. I will hang out with you from 8 a.m. till the end of the football game and probably never see you again. But that's what it is. It's just that friendly nature, just that bonding experience.
Was there anything that you were involved with, or maybe even something that you just saw, maybe weren't involved with, but like nobody else is they're gonna be like, that's not a Texas Tech. Was there something you saw that just was like, how is this a thing that I can get involved with?
I don't know if things like that, but some of the things like, again, I'm from El Paso. I didn't know a lot about Lubbock. Yeah. So when I came here, they had Crickets the bar, Crickets the baseball team. And I was like, what's with the Crickets? And they're all Buddy Holly. And I was like, they're all Buddy Holly's from Lubbock. I was like, oh. So my friends took me that night to go see the Buddy Holly statue. And people come visit and they don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like I did all the stuff you should have done. And one of the other things is, again, I grew up in the city. My dad used to take me down to the gun range and all that stuff. So my father-in-law, who's here and will probably laugh about it, took me hunting for the first time. So he gives me a shotgun and I'm shooting at anything that flies by. And so my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. She goes, hey, how was it? And he goes, he's horrible. And he's never been hunting before. He goes, oh, well, he wasn't that bad then. But just seeing all the different stuff and just like going mudding for the first time. In El Paso, there's no place to go mudding. Yeah. I was like, what is mudding? So they took us out and just got us stuck in the mud. My friend that went with us, he's in Armani, Gucci, and they just throw us in the mud. And it's just an experience. You just can't have that anywhere else. There's, going out in the middle of the field and just having a party, that is just something that is pure Lubbock. And that's just where you're going to make those memories and where you're going to see things that you've never, hear stories you've never heard before. One of the best ones is Lubbock used to have a bar where you could go watch them try and ride bulls. Me and my friend were from the city, we're drinking and we're like, oh man, that would be so easy. It's only 8 seconds, you can hold on. We started talking up these girls and they're like, oh really, you think it'd be fun? He's like, yeah, no problem. So like, oh, well, let's go to an after party. So we went there and they are having a country rodeo, not the PBR, nothing that's going to be on TV. These are cowboys, like people who grew up in, going to the local high schools and they're riding those bulls and they're like $20 buy-in and we're like, and they're like, of course the guys were laughing at us and all that stuff. Those girls let us on because I really thought they were going to let us on those bulls, but they were just playing with us. They knew we were city boys and weren't going to do it, but there's nowhere else you can have an experience like that.
Yeah. All right, so this next one, this is the most important question. I ask it in every single interview I do because you can learn a lot from somebody by the answer that they give. It's midnight, you're hungry, you've got to get something to eat. Where are you going to get a midnight snack?
At my time, when I was here, there was 2 places you would go. It'd either be everyone's favorite, the Texas mascot Whataburger.
Oh yeah.
Or Lone Wolf.
Oh yeah.
Lone Wolf was just a Mexican food restaurant. It was over across from LCU. I mean, the food wasn't great, but that's not what you're gonna remember. But it was the place where if you didn't talk to the girl at the bar, that's where she was gonna be afterwards.
Okay, so you mentioned a Whataburger. What is your Whataburger order?
I am a double meat, cheese, no onions, large onion rings, and a large Coke. That is my standard order.
Heck yeah. I feel like, I don't know, it's become more synonymous. Patrick Mahomes loves Whataburger. He brought it to Kansas City, but that's kind of become synonymous with Lubbock. So that's a good answer.
I missed Whataburger so much that when I used to fly home from Orange County, fly back from Lubbock to Orange County, I would go to Whataburger and go, can I get 5 Whataburgers to go, please? And that's all I would eat for the next week was Whataburger.
All right, I think this is a question. This is totally off topic or off script, not off topic. Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Oh, Whataburger, 100%.
Yeah, we can get some claps for that.
100%.
I will have to agree. Whataburger is pretty incredible. On a more serious note now, what is your favorite memory from Texas Tech?
I think it's the traditions. Like, you cannot beat a Carol of Lights if you have never been. Watching those red lights come down, just seeing that kind of stuff. Going to, like, when Texas Tech goes and plays outside, like we're talking about, they went to the Final Four in Orange County, they came out. Watching the send-off, just the love that they have for the team, the love that they have for their sports. Hearing the Matadors song, getting your class ring, just all those different memories of bonfires, all the different homecomings. I remember I was in an organization and we made a homecoming float. And so we wanted to, because we were going to win homecoming. That's what we were going to do. So we went out and we rented a hangar out by the airport and we built this float. Well, being college kids, it's going to be big, it's going to be huge. We didn't take into account that we had to come inside the loop and go underneath the overpass. So the 18-wheeler is driving and just stops. And he's like, we're not going to make it. And we're like, no, you have to make it. Like, we have to be in the parade. Like, we have to go. They gave us a time. He goes, I don't know. So he's going slowly and slowly. And it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's inching under. And when it gets to the other side, we're in the street dancing because it made, and guess what? We won homecoming.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. All right, so if you only had one word, and I'll let you elaborate on your one word, but if you only had one word to describe Texas Tech, what would that word be?
I know this is going to be probably what everyone kind of thinks or something like that, but home. And it's honestly because when you come back here, any alumni that comes back, whether, you know, maybe college wasn't your thing, maybe you got out in 3 years, you got out, you know, really fast, you always have a memory. And when you come here, you feel something on this campus. You can feel it when you step back on this campus. People come back all the time. I have all my friends that are alumni that come, and they're just like, there's something about Lubbock. There's something in, you know, it might be the smell that blows in from the east side or something like that, but it is home. This is where you know, you might have met your wife, you might have met your best friend, you might have had the best experience in your life, but that's what it is here. Is it just feels like home, and it never feels like you just left. Like Lubbock is totally different from when I left. When I left, we still had the Strip, and I thought that was the end of Lubbock.
Yeah.
I live 2 exits past there now. I live on 137. There was, like, if you went past 98, like, there was nothing but cotton fields, and now our house is out there. But that is just the thing is, when you come here, it is a feeling. It is just something, and every Red Raider will know it. Anyone that lived in Lubbock, they will know that feeling. Like, this is home.
All right, so we'll transition a little bit into your time since you have left Texas Tech. I guess to start it out, what have you been up to since you've graduated and left Texas Tech?
So I took a little bit of the longer version to get through Texas Tech because I had so much fun. When I got out, I used to work for a little children's museum. I did all their advertising. We did the window displays. And then I met my wife, and we decided to move from Texas, because if you're never going to leave Texas, you're never going to leave. So we were hoping for Chicago, and we got California, somewhere I never thought we'd move. So we moved out to Orange County. She had a job with a bank. I knew I could find something there. So apparently PowerPoint is a huge thing there. So I got into doing sales presentations for a company and redid all theirs, and then got in with Career Builder, and they were closing our LA office. And I was like, what am I going to do now? And so there's a software company, and I got into software. And I think that's kind of, you know, just kind of the thing is, I was ready for anything and was just ready for adventure. And, you know, my wife will be the first one to tell you, my job does not define me.
Yeah.
Outside work, my volunteer work, all that stuff, that's what really defines me. My job is just kind of what pays for all that kind of stuff. And so I got into software, was doing a lot of software implementation and stuff like that, and decided to move back. And so we moved back here and just, you know, kind of seeing where the next adventure is going to take me.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did Texas Tech prepare you, I guess, not only even for the workforce, but kind of how you talked about, I mean, you're so adaptable to change. How did Texas Tech prepare you for that?
Texas Tech kind of really prepared me for that, is because they will throw you in anything. And that's the kind of the thing is, like, at Texas Tech, anybody will talk to anybody, and just kind of not being afraid to do things. And I think that's one of the kind of the things that they instill to you is, like, this is Texas Tech. We are a major university. We offer things that no one else does. So don't be afraid, you know, don't be afraid to go out there. And that's the thing is for me, I learned, you know, I can get from, you give me point A to Z, I will figure everything out. You do not have to spell it out for me. And just always ready for an adventure, always ready to try anything. You know what? I can do that. You know, give me a chance. And one of the things I did learn, in my beautiful wife who's here to heckle me, she, one of the things she also learned too is, like, she got into banking and she went into the movie industry.
Wow.
She was in entertainment.
Wow.
Never even saw Top Gun, hasn't seen The Goonies, haven't seen any of those great movies. but she had her degree from Texas Tech up against people who came over from, Stanford, Cambridge, over in London, all kinds of stuff. And our degrees will go up against any other major university in the United States. Yeah. So I think that's one thing is that Texas Tech prepared me for is our university is better and greater than anyone out there.
Yeah, perfect way to put that. What advice would you have for somebody who's maybe listening to this? They're getting ready to graduate. They're getting ready to take that next step. What is the best piece of advice you could give somebody who's ready to make that step?
The advice I always give is do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. You never know what's going to take you. And the other thing is your ideas are just as good as anyone else's. If you're in the room with the CEO, don't be intimidated. There is a respect factor of knowing that they're the CEO, but don't be afraid to take your shot. Don't be afraid to put out your ideas. Just because, I'm from Little West, Texas, no, you're from Texas Tech University. Okay. Go ahead and you can run with all of them. And, just don't be afraid to put yourself out there is what I would say. Just take that next step and just take in all of life. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to have experiences. We're here to have, to see where life's going to take you. And that's the whole thing is if you look at most people in this world, there are probably 1% that's like, I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Everyone else is like, you know what? I'm the wingman. You never know where you might get that chance. To tell me that I was going to be in software, there's no way. There's no way. But, it's just something that came for me. And that's something that Texas Tech, prepared me for. And that was something like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I bet you I can do it. That's awesome. So what does the future look like for you? What is next? I'm building the Lubbock chapter here. There's a lot of things that I do with the Lubbock chapter. This summer, I'm going to be, again, a counselor at Legacy U. So Legacy U is a program that Texas Tech has where the grandparents bring the kids out and they go to classes. And this is a great program because we don't have just some professor teaching. We have the heads of the department there. They have a class on the masked rider, which was my favorite. I got to put on the mask. I got to put on the helmet. I mean, everything. It's where I learned so much about the history and just the history of our mascots and, where it comes from and stuff like that. Another thing I'm doing is I put on, and we're not doing it this year because we kind of want to make it better for next year. We do a Guns Up Clay Shoot where we raise money for scholarships. We're trying to raise more and more money for scholarships. I want kids to come here. And another thing I learned coming back is a lot of our talent leaves. A lot of people don't want to stay in West Texas. They want to go to Dallas. I want people to stay here. I want people to think of Lubbock as a home. Yeah. So I'm working on trying to get all our businesses together and to be like, let's get kids to stay here. Let's give them scholarship. Let's give those kids from Slayton. Let's give those kids from Brownfield scholarships. Let's show them what you can do here. That's awesome. All right, we've got one more topic that we're going to touch on before we end up finishing this thing out. But we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we're going to talk a little bit about Texas Tech Alumni Association and how it's benefited you. All right, we're back. One final segment. It's been a great conversation. Chris, I appreciate you being here with us. It's been a good time. Of course. Thanks for having me. Of course. So, like I said, this last segment, we're going to talk about how the Texas Tech Alumni Association has played an impact in your life and in your career and in the people around you. So, first, before we get into that, how did you get involved in the Texas Tech Alumni Association? So the way I actually got involved is, of course, we were always, given our yearly dues to the Alumni Association, but it's when I moved out to Orange County. They had a chapter out there. We wanted to hang out with other Red Raiders. So we went to the very first meeting and we were at, it was kind of like a family pizza restaurant, no sound or anything like that. And so the president there, her name was Sharon, and I was like, hey, would you mind if I tried to find another place that would actually put the sound on for us. And she goes, yeah, go ahead. And so there was probably 5 people at that party. There wasn't really a lot. So I found a bar. I mean, talking to bar owners and trying to get them to understand who Texas Tech is was a little hard back then, but we found this place. And then she was like, oh my God. And we had like 20 people show up and she's like, oh, this is great. And she goes, all right, everyone, I want to announce this is Chris Richards. He's the new president of the Orange County chapter. I'm like, okay. So
here we are.
That's how I got involved, and just that's how it started, with being with the chapter president and doing that.
Hey, show up to an event. Maybe you'll be president of a chapter out of nowhere. That's super cool. How long have you been involved with the Alumni Association?
So from that day when I became president, it's been about 20 years. Wow. So we were in Orange County for about 15. I was president the entire time.
Wow.
I left in really good hands. And so it's been about 20 years.
That's awesome. How have you seen the Texas Tech Alumni Association benefit you in your time after college?
I've seen it benefit me because of all the people I get to meet, all the things I get to do. I actually got nominated to be on the National Board of Advisors, so I'm on the national board. We get lots of access to things that no one gets to see. You know, I've taken tours of the new parts of the stadium, the Womble Center, all that stuff. But I think one of the best ones was we were at an event, and they came up and they introduced me to a very nice, older gentleman named Jim Gaspar. And I'm like, oh, it's really nice to meet you, just like I've met anyone else. And they tell me, hey, do you know who that is? And I was like, no. And they're all, that's the very first Raider Red. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm never gonna wash this hand. I can't believe I just met the original Raider Red. And it's funny because we've become such great friends. Wow. And he has his wife, Diana, and she's so nice. And it's just those kind of interactions, like you're going to meet people like that you've never met before, and just everyone is just so nice. And it's just getting to know all the different chapter leaders and just getting to know all the different chapters and visiting all those chapters. It's just, you can't create memories like that. And like I was telling you before, we went to West Virginia, met the West Virginia chapter. Just getting to see a game in Morgantown is like no other. So if you ever have the chance, it's one experience I would say really go do.
So I've got to ask, since we talked about the Waylon Jennings stories, whenever people say, do you know who that is? Are you like, Waylon Jennings? Looking around.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know.
I know who you are. So you've talked a little bit about some of the stories with it, but tell us some cool stories that you've seen the Alumni Association working in other people's lives.
Oh man, there's some great people that we've met. Actually, this is a really good story. So we were out in Orange County, and so this guy is not a Red Raider. He is a West Virginia Mountaineer through and through. And we went to our bar, and remember, when games start here at 11, in Orange County, they start at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for them to open up the bar so that we can go in and have our coffee and our beer. Yeah. This guy walks up and he's wearing all his West Virginia stuff. And I was like, hey, how are you? And he's like, oh, I'm doing great. And I was like, oh, did you just pick this bar? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, well, I want to let you know, this is the Red Raider bar. And he's like, oh, great, and we're playing each other. And so we walk in, and he goes and sits at another table. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you come sit with us? And he goes, really? And I was like, if you're going to be like yelling at us and talking mad stuff, then no, go sit over there. I was like, no, of course, come sit with us. And so he's taking pictures and sending them to friends. You'll never guess who I'm sitting with and all that stuff. And it's a really good game. But at halftime, we're announcing our scholarship for Orange County kids. This man, Dave Hanna, stands up and puts down the first money that we start our scholarship with.
Wow.
So he wasn't even a Red Raider, and the Alumni Association touch. We still talk to him. When we went to West Virginia, the game, we sat in his seats.
Dude.
He'll text us when we're doing good and when we play each other and stuff like that. So stuff like that. We have someone that I met when I came back here, and she's actually on our board for the Lubbock chapter. Her name's Christy, and I know I'm going to butcher her name, Majapani. She went to Texas Tech. She was on the dance squad. She has come back to get her dream job. She works at the School of Dance. And to just watch her passion and just the passion for the Alumni Association, the passion for Texas Tech, and the passion for her job is just something that you don't see. Like, I mean, when you see her, it is Miss Texas Tech, but just anything for the Alumni Association. And it's just become a big part of her life. And she was actually part of the chapter back in Dallas.
Wow. Well, Chris, we've talked about a lot tonight. We've given information about the Alumni Association. We've talked about your time at Texas Tech. We've talked about your career and how Texas Tech has benefited your career. And we've talked a little bit about the Texas Tech Alumni Association literally changing people's lives and things like that. Do you have anything else you want to add before we end our time here and close it out?
I would say if you've never been to an event, go out to the local chapters. That's where you're going to find the heart. Come out, see all the stuff that we have at the Alumni Center. Come out from the game, go to the pavilion, have a great time. But just remember, like, Texas Tech is your home. So when you come back, you're always going to feel welcome. And like any Red Raider, like, just go out and have fun. That's what being a Red Raider is about. That's what Texas Tech is about. So don't be afraid to go out. Go to your local chapters. That's where you're going to see, that's where you're going to see the true love of Texas Tech.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here. We've emphasized it the whole time. Go to a local event. Get involved. You are not going to regret your time doing that. Chris, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. To the live audience, thank you guys for coming out. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all's time. Also, big shout out to Embassy Suites. We appreciate y'all letting us film this here and do this. And obviously Skydive Media recording us, making the sound, all that kind of stuff. Couldn't do any of this stuff without those people. So we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all check out social media. We're gonna have more of these. This is the first one. We're getting the first one out of the way. And if you can, I mean, we're talking about getting involved. You see the next one, come out to Embassy Suites. Come out and have a drink. Come talk with us. You're going to enjoy your time. So we appreciate that. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Dude.
Oh, thank you. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was great.